Vincenzo's Gold Crypto Investing, an afternoon lunch update here as the markets and the coins are firing in all directions. You got coins firing 20, 30, 40% up. And then you got coins firing down 10, 15% down. It's an exciting day across the board in the coin sphere. And we're going to get right on into this with all the nonsense. But before I get on into this, we're gonna go first in the USDT coin because that thing is phenomenally pumping. And my old man has it, so we're on top of it for him. But if you're one of those 31 now 0.3% that listens but is not subscribed, you are a fleeced heister and shyster and a charlatan snake oil salesman and part of the criminal gangster cartel, the Ohio State University, brother. Now, if you want to be part of Mamba Jabroni Killer, while we fleeced, heist, and shyst to the criminal gangsters, and the market, hit that free subscribe button, and you don't even have to hit the bell notification. You don't even have to watch. If you're just scanning this video and you just happen to come across it, just help me to get to 1,000 subscribers to get more into the algorithm and expand my network of people that I can talk to by being monetized. And then you never have to listen to me again. Just hit that subscribe button, put my channel on hibernate, and everything's good. And you did your part to help support the channel by getting me to... I only need less than 200 subscribers to meet my goal of monetization, and that's a big goal that I've had. And we've reached the 4,000 watch hours in a very good amount of time, only about 6 months. And I want to get that last goal set so that way we can expand the channel and the content and the power of Vincenzo's Gold Crypto Investing. You can see we were in this rising wedge. The last time we looked at USD coin last week, it was in here, and we were saying the way to play the pattern right now is you buy support and sell resistance if you're not hodling it, right? If you're a hodler, you just buy support, right? And then if it broke down, a target would be down here into the moving averages, but a break up, the sky's the limit, right? Because you're above price discovery up here. You haven't traded ever in here before, so you're in price discovery. So the price can go wherever it wants. It's got to try to find where the buyers get exhausted because the price has never went that far before, right? So now what we got here, where's that bottom one at? We need to extend this out. There it is. We need to bring that out to current time. It didn't really change much, but it added in all the buy volume in here. But you can see there's no volume, so that's why it sold off really quick, because it's in price discovery. And then you would go back down to here as your major, the way you use your volume indicator. You see how it's just buy, because there was no... From here up before the breakout, there was nothing. So you're going to come back to here where you had a little bit of a candlestick, and then you had some buying and selling take place down there. So this is your major underneath support now, right? You're going to come back and back test that maybe, or more than likely. And this is your underneath support right there, right? We'll take that down a notch. Get on in here in the settings. Bust that down to 10, right? So your $15.70 is your major underneath support now, because you've had no trading all up into here. And that's why, like we just went over, this price could just come down and flush all the way down, because all of this, there's no trading. Nothing's ever happened up here. So it's just barely anything there. Only the volume that was bought up. And that's why you could, from the wick right here, if we look at that, let's take our industry exclusive measuring tool out just to give you some perspective here. Look at this. On the wick to where we're at now, if you bought that, you're down 37.96% on that flush, because there was no trading there. So the price could just collapse down to where there was trading. That's why if I had to guess based on a probability weighted indexes of what I'm looking at, is I would say at the very least now, right, if I would have told you this coming up here, it was going to roll over 36% today, you guys would have thought I was full of shit. But now that I'm on now, after it wicked back down, probably what's going to happen is you start to consolidate down, and then you back test this underneath support, because that's where the trading is. If you look back, like we just did on our volume indicator. So this is a very healthy area to back test. And then if you can gather some support, then you can start to trade back up with some more fortitude and more staying power, right? Or you're going to fall back down into here, right? And then come back down even farther and then start to trade down, right? And that's going to be a disaster. But that's for another time in another place. In the immediate short term, what we're looking at is to back test this overhead resistance major right here. You can see we're getting closer to it now, and that's where I would think you're going to come back test off of that big pump with that big wick, right? Because that just makes sense, and you can see how much more sense it looks on into the 3-minute time frame, the closer time frame, and you can see it was a phenomenal flush from all the way up here to that current price. As you can see, 34.69%. It's funny how it always ends up at 69%, right? And then you can see sneaking up here from the south, in the southwest of the picture, you can see the moving average is sneaking up to 50, and then the 100 sneaking into here. It's going to start running like this, and then the 200 will come. So that makes perfect sense that you come down and retest this as your major underneath resistance into here into the moving averages, and then you can try to trade back up and maybe form what looks like a giant, gorgeous, stunning, all jabroni enticing double top, and then you trade back down to back test this, and then you got fun and games to see if you're going to crash or if you're going to pump, right? That's what I would be looking for in the next 72 to 81 hours in the USD coin, right? As we move on along here, we'll find some other exciting coins that are firing off. Bitcoin futures is up phenomenally, right? We'll go into the altcoin list. I know I've seen some fucking fire makers and haymakers in here. Vechain was one of them. We ain't looked at the Vechain in quite some time, so this will be interesting to see what's going on here. Let's get to the yearly time frame. Let's get this out of the way here in a super simple, easy way to break down this manipulated market. Yes, the market. You can see last time we were worrying about a double top here. We had it circled, then we had the support down here, and then we had this ring that we thought we could get hyper volatile as soon as we crossed the ring, right? And now we're coming up to the ring, and it looks like you can see we extended a moving average out into there that we thought we could hold support on a breakdown. And we got all these critical rings coming together. And if we zoom on in here to the 30-minute time frame, right, you can see we're coming up to that double top. We've broken out, but the volume's still falling. So that to me is not very bullish when you have this nice pump, but you actually had falling volume the whole pump. That leads me to believe this 200 day is going to start to slither its way up like that. It's not going to do so much like that. It's going to sort of round up, and then it's going to flatten out like this, and then I think it's going to start to trade back down. And I think this starts to trade sideways and down, kind of forming a rounding top, and then it kind of rides these moving averages in a jagged fashion on into the future. I think we're going to start to form sort of a rounding top here, right? And then maybe come down and test a moving average in the 4-hour time frame somewhere in that general region. Let's go to the 3-hour time frame, and you can see that beautifully. The 50-day moving average would be there in the 3-hour time frame, right? And then if we go into the 4-hour time frame, it'll be the 50. It's still the 200. So that's one way to go down, right? And then if you can't hold that, you would start to trade into these moving averages, the 200, then come up and get rejected by the 50 or the 100 in blue, and then end up down here along all three of these major fib rings, right, or fib circles. Or if you want to get ultimately bullish here, right, you could say you've been consolidating through these rings with our industry exclusive purchasing tool, and you got overhead resistance there, right? See that? But it would really be more like, you could say it's something like this, right? You used it as support here, resistance, resistance, and then you could say you have something coming up from the backside like this, and you got support and resistance there, support and resistance there, right? See that? And now you got, with our drawing tool, you got support, and then support and resistance. That was resistance. So support, resistance, support, resistance, support, and then a possible resistance right there. So what could be happening is you're coming back down, and then you're going to trade down and hit this for support for the first, second, third, fourth time, and then try to make a run up at this for the fifth time, for the fourth time on the top, right? That could be a pattern you're in, because that's the pattern that's been going on since all the way back here. Since all the way back here in February of 2021, you've been trading within this big consolidating pattern. Now, if you say, well, what the fuck happens if we break out of this big motherfucker? Well, you would simply come from the bottom to the top, grab it, bring it to the point of a breakout, And you'd see that looks awfully nice there. If it broke out there, that would get you way up here to this major ring up here, right? And that would be overhead resistance, because you know your resistance points are always the rings, right? And you say, well, how do I know that these rings work? Well, let's look at them. Each ring plays significance. You can see this red ring held as major oh, that's purple. I like red better. It's easier to see. Make that brighter because this is the one we're talking about. You can see the red ring acted as resistance. Then the underneath red ring, which is part of this fib circle, acted as support. Then it finally found its ultimate support on the green ring below. Then you came up here and you hit the green ring and got rejected, right? Came back down, used your underneath triangle that we're in, came back up and used the red ring and blue ring right now again as overhead resistance, right? So that would be a logical spot up there for you to hit as overhead resistance if you break out of this pattern later. That's why we had this target up here if you broke out of this pattern, you know, right here on this breakout, but it hasn't, it's delayed. So this is the overall pattern that you look to be in, and this is a breakout price to the upside, right? And then to the downside, your breakdown price would be simply the same thing from the top to the bottom to the point of, see, the only thing with this is though, it's not auto, so we gotta go. This would give you a better, because I don't feel like switching it. So that'd be a 68% flush. That's a big flush. That's probably gonna bring you right down to a ring somewhere. Probably that yellow ring. 68% flush. Now it brings you right into the middle, right? At the bottom of the pattern. So that would be your targeted move down. Would be right. Oh, that almost did it. It's auto doing it. See that? I just didn't have it on there. It'd get you right about there, a 68% flush. So that would be your target to the downside. We're just going to move that over here. That would be your target to the downside right here, right? So we're going to watch out for that to see how that plays out in the old Vechain, right? So 0.0369 cents. Funny how it ends up on that on the downside, and 30 cents on the upside, right? So we'll keep an eye on that in the Vechain. That's what to look forward to. Take a snapshot of this symmetrical triangle right there, because that's the pattern you're playing right now. And as we move along here, and we'll do one more coin, and then I got to get back off my lunch and get back into doing some important business. What else do we got? Oh, XPR. We just talked about this yesterday. Yeah, we got a little arrow up there for something. See that? Oh yeah, look at that. See, we said we could come all the way right there yesterday to $4.96. And what gave us an inkling that that could be an area to watch of significance? Probably somewhere left in the chart. You always look left. You're not there looking left. But that just seemed to make sense yesterday from what I was looking at. Oh, that's why. Because you're in this big rising channel. And now what we're going to see, I thought it could squeeze back up here a little bit. We got some scribblies down there. Could squeeze up and then come back and back test, because I think you got to back test this major underneath resistance right here, right? So we're going to pay attention. You're in price discovery now though, but you got a little bit of a volume spike there, and it squeezed you up right up to that top that we talked about yesterday. Now if we can keep doing this, oh yeah, you can keep going up. The sky's the limit. You're in price discovery, but as soon as the momentum dies, you're going to come back to that 200-day and then underneath support at $1.37. Like, subscribe, and share to Vincenzo's Gold Crypto Investing. But I am not a financial advisor, nor do I play one on my own radio show. This is strictly entertainment talk. This y'all trading alert, BRV, and my own personal opinions of the market and how to sidestep and shift and shiest and fleece and hustle and heist. Fleece, heist, and shiest. The charlatans, the overters and subverters and overters that are the Ohio State University, brother, that have infiltrated the trading market in the United States federal government and Federal Reserve in order to knock down the retail trader into a state of submission, right? But not here. Oh, no, not at Vincenzo's Gold Crypto Investing. We sidestep audible to profitability in a probability-based, super simple, easy way to trade this manipulated market at a high probability successful rate. Peace and love. Peace and love.